Hi, I'm iKia, and for today's video, we're doing the continuation of the in-depth guide into Countdown. As we went over already into the theoretical side of things with a long guide, which is the first part of this two-part in-depth guide. If you haven't seen that part yet, of course, the guide will be linked down below, and so will the other video, the part 1 of this, where we went through this guide, both in a quick way, in a little 8-minute segment of just explaining it, the important parts, and then of course the in-depth part where we went through this part by part by part. And this video is actually one that I wanted to kind of incorporate into that guide, but it went a little long because it's a pretty long guide. It turns out there is a lot of things to count down. So we separated this out, which is the gameplay. I'm going to run 2 runs of Countdown and just explain as I go, basically giving as much insight as I can, throwing in most of the guide as well into it, basically. But yeah, I think a reading through the guide might be handy before this, and then or watching the other video, the part 1, and then continuing on with this and seeing it in practice, basically. So yeah, let's jump right in, right? And we'll start actually before going into the actual countdown. And that is by first off showing, where we go for matchmaking. So first off, you can just go into the matchmake here and just count down challenging. Same can be done actually from the pilot. Same can also be done by bringing up the menu here by matchmaking for this. Secondly, what we can do here is if we accept it while in this shared space, if we are, for instance, in another group, or if we were to stand outside of this, we would actually not be able to, we would get a loading screen, so it's handier to stand outside of it. I'm just going to run a standard striker, and when we get there, first thing I'm going to do, of course, is what we could do as well beforehand, but I saw the timer already going, is to set our targeted. And we can do that as well once we're here on this map, and actually pretty quickly as well.
Communication relay
it will not be, because I want to be on the map as well for a second. As we talked about in the guide, we want to link up as quickly as we can, so sometimes that is an available thing to do. We're starting west. The other team is starting north, although, well, us starting west means that we just go do our hunter. And yeah, we're gonna go in here and bring up targeted real quick. But now, yeah, keep it on LMGs as I have it, and just we're gonna stick together as a team, hopefully. And even though I'm taking a little bit of a different path than that guy, we're going the same way. One handy tool for any countdown is Pulse. I'm the only one carrying one. With Pulse, you can kind of, especially later on, you have one random enemy that is just hiding somewhere. Kind of point them out. Although, of course, as well. Not really where I wanted to go, but it worked out in the end, apparently. Yeah, this hunter is kind of on me. I'm just gonna kind of hide and let my allies do the thing. We're on challenging, which is one of the easier, well, it is the easier of the 2 popular difficulties. We should be still able to get as the other team was pretty quick with getting their hunter in the back by the looks of this. And then we'll get this countermeasure done, getting all 3 counters measures flipped. And this is generally how you want to start a countdown. It's just getting the hunters done, getting as many of the dog tags as you can.
We need to locate the target.
So here we only got to have 2, so we'll only have 122 at the end screen. And yeah, we'll go reactor, likely reactor admin or reactor turbine. Actually, it does not really matter, does it? It kind of does, so yeah. I'm gonna actually type it out. So one thing, as we talked about, is just to put it in the chat. So here I'm just taking away the confusion, because some people might go reactor and then turbine. Putting them, we can better go admin, even if it is a worse thing or such, just because the last is lab, so we want to kind of be on that side of the map where admin is. And by just putting it in the chat, we kind of go, hey, hopefully people read it and listen. Some people also have a little bit of a reverence for SHD level, and I am on my main account. We'll actually jump onto third account, I feel, for the second run. And yeah, that was a crate. I automatically went to it. Yeah, this is the 3 crate positions are yeah, after a while you know where they are. So yeah, I went for that upstairs one. There's one down there. There's one by the stairs there. And it is generally what I first go for. If I run into some enemies, I'll kill them.
Target detected.
I'm also not gonna go out of my way to kind of murder. Or like, I'm not here to do top damage or anything. I'm here for the loot and the shoot. 50-50. But as a striker, I am one of the damage dealers. I'm just set up as obliterate strikers with a coyote. And I'm also kind of keeping an eye on the buff bar, seeing how many coyotes kind of pop up. Because if you have if we at any point kind of have the 3 buffs, I could actually, that means that there's at least 3 coyotes. And what I could do is actually grab piece, so I do more damage myself, like a group one. Or something like a palisade for more armor and kill, or a bunch of other things we could put there. And yeah, we're kind of chasing the enemies. And yeah, on this one, I'm just gonna be a damage dealer. On the second one, we're gonna take something a little bit more supporty. But of course, the thing with supporty is it can actually make it faster and more enjoyable and all that, but you need the damage. The damage still needs to be there, and if I'm going support, then yeah, others need to be the damage. Here, just for the first one, I went the standard route of for a challenging countdown to go on obliterate striker. For a heroic countdown, I would go on a chest striker, because yeah, heroic enemies are chunky as long as you don't have too big of a damage buff or anything, as we don't have here. So yeah, we have the armor repair and 2 skill things, one for skill cooldown, one for but yeah, we'll head over here. Hopefully instructions will be followed. I feel most of the team kind of is. Although generally as well, if one person starts to go one route, the rest will follow. So technically here as well, so upload is actually a little bit longer than Warhounds. Although both can be done really quickly. But this one still has, you have to get to the upload part. I'm gonna go downstairs, so over time you will know where for each of the objectives that the things are. So I know here, there's one here, and there's one up there. The one up there is, seeing as we came in from that side as well, is likely to be hit. You can kind of, you know, expect certain places to, just because it's instantly there. But yeah, this one, not so much. And then yeah, once I've killed, or once I've cleared this one, we'll kill the server over there. And hopefully someone will get the control point, or the one at the in there. But I should get mine real quick. It's not that. The crate is down here. We got lucky with it. Here as well. There's one down here. There's one in the back of the offices there, and there's one in the little area of DC62 on the side. We do want to actually get that second server. I see nobody else is kind of going for it, so I'll go for it. And yeah, we want to get the objectives done partially as well. So you could sit here and farm enemies, and some people choose to do that, for instance. With thinking of, yeah, you get more loot and you got more kills and stuff. It makes a little bit of sense, except that you want to actually get the run done and get the credits. Because if you can do 2 runs and get, you know, that amount of loot out of it, a little bit more. Or you could have 3 runs, doing them quickly and getting, well, in effect, a little bit more towards named caches and exotic caches because of the currency. I think I would pick that one. Also, the ending, where we kill the extraction, where we murder some more hunters, yeah, that part is valuable. So if you can do 3 of those instead of 2 of those, yeah. I would go the quick route. And that's generally what we will do as well. Just go as quickly as we can. Yeah, this is nice to see, although actually I think that guy's just an auto run.
Agent, you've reached the lab. I need you to stabilize the reactor.
People are even offering exotics for if anybody else needs them, that is. Very polite. So SHT wise, although yeah, likely very hard
You're
to see
in.
on the video.
Now, just need to find and destroy those fuel valves.
I'm the only 5-digit one, and then there's 2 1Kers, and oh, I should got that one as I was coming in. So here we are at the main with laboratory. So one nice thing is at least one of the biggest crash issues that Countdown has. Some may have explained, but then usually poorly, as a lot of people don't get the end chest. There is an issue with crashing at the end chest, but that's mostly as well with a close range extraction. So when the extraction is close to where you are. Here we, the team I was with, we spawned west. So we had west and east as our spawns. So the extraction is going to be north, meaning that we already know where it's going to be. And yeah, it's always the 2 that we use to get in. It's going to be the other one. Is going to be extraction. So we already know where that is going to be. We don't have to worry about that too much. So red in the corner, but that's actually a share. It's that likely that's safer. Coordinating and sharing it. Good to see.
You just need to destroy the
because actually laboratory here and the western extraction with it, if you have those 2 lining up like that, that's actually one of the worst crashing as combinations. Whenever the extraction is close to the crate that you have currently, that is the issue. So sometimes it might be worthy to skip the final crate, but generally it's only here, lab and western extraction. The only other dangerous one I feel is reactor and northern extraction. That one seems to also go haywire quite often. And yeah, I'm staying in the circle. Only one person needs to be in the circle, so I'll stay in that till it's completed. Now the objective moves to destroying the reactor. And quickly checking my loot. I don't have enough space, so some people will take umbrage with me looking at the loot and then like deconstructing it. I don't have enough inventory space. I could stash a few builds, so generally what you can do is, if you have the stash space for it, is to put a bunch of gear into your, or bunch of loadouts into your stash, which can be done very easily in the options of loadouts. That's also likely what we'll do for our second run, and I'll show that as well, because I feel that is a good one show, but for that we'll go to a different account where I don't have a stash that is filled with all of the weapons that I need for the burst and sustain tables. So putting those away and just looting up from the ground, just looting as junk or just picking it all up. Yeah, that is the preferred way to go, but yeah, I don't have that amount of storage available to me. I'm just gonna actually, let's pop his helmet. Although I'm gonna still look for the chest. Pop this helmet. Because why be consistent? I'm gonna start this. We're not in any kind of time crunch. We still have 3.5 minutes. We're on the last part of this, so we'll have this. We'll destroy the last reactor part. Yeah, these people are kind of staying in there. I'll leave them to it.
Experimental reactor.
And once that happens, it'll either be that wave that is the ending, or it'll spawn one more wave with a name in it, and then that is the ending of it. Once that happens, of course, so once we kill, so yeah, we're secure the area. Once this guy's dead.
Nice. The plant's secure.
Then the main crate becomes available, so we're gonna go get that.
Torres is waiting for your signal. Shoot off a flare when you're ready to come home.
And now we get 6 items here without the targeted. And I'll take the risky way out, which is that way. And also pop ammo here. And I'm gonna start running. The thing we want to do at the ending here is to bunch up again. And hopefully whoever was kind of waiting on the last one as well. Because yeah, I'm just gonna wait at the gate, and usually just people follow that. Just, you know, they do as other people do. This is a far extraction, so we want to get there decently fast, just to have the time as well to extract. People are just chatting it up in the background, I see. Just gonna kind of wait. Wiggle. Hoping these guys don't go instantly. I could actually type out to wait, but also we can go with the 4. It'll kind of suck for our allies here.
System curtailed.
And I am actually sharpshooter, and the reason I am sharpshooter is those grenades.
Serious
And a little bit
trauma
more
detected.
stability, of course. But we appear to have. So here I hit health gate. The next,
Agent down.
I'm gonna get down here. So I have on my bar the weakened state, and I don't have a hive anymore to pick me up. If I go down now, I will die. There's no picking me up, so I'm just gonna play it slow here. There, I was aggressive. I wanted to make sure that Hunter died. Several people were not in range for that pickup, which kind of sucks for them, but then also, just, yeah. You gotta go. So, flashbang's pretty good for just keeping stuff busy. And with those hunters as well downed, so one of the things is just part of the general meta now is that, yeah, we like our strikers, and what strikers means is stacking. And what stacking means is that the longer a fight kind of goes, the better most of the team becomes. Because yeah, I'm fully stacked now, meaning that I'm at actually potential damage is quite up there. I'm not sure what is.
Shoot off a flare when you're ready for Torres to
And
bring
I'm
you
hoping
home.
this guy doesn't. One thing that a lot of fresh players will do is they'll get revived and then get back up and then instantly die because of that weakened state. So I'm no longer in that weakened state either, so pretty clean clear. As expected as well. This team, just by how we came in and also kind of got it done. Yeah, it was obvious that there was a bunch of damage there. There were a few skills deployed, but actually the hunters did not get a chance to hack them. And one thing I like doing actually for this end part, I feel a lot of people just keep standing over there. Likely because, you know, they want to be in range to flare. I'm just going to trust that others will flare. I just go and make myself a small package somewhere and just sit where I have a clean line of fire. I don't want to
We see
be
you.
able to
Helo inbound on your location.
hit anybody's back and stuff. And I wasn't paying attention to the time, but hopefully that wasn't too early. But we got here pretty late as well. So. And it's just clean up at this point. We'll clean up these choppers. In between, we have plenty of time to check if it's worth keeping or not. And if I was feeling a little bit more generous and maybe also not talking, I would actually usually pick up my names and share them. Because the names especially can be handy for proficiency and such. Some names are of course also usable just by themselves. And yeah, we do have our chopper here, but also this chopper arrived early enough that we can clear it. As long as most of the players are still here. We have these last resources. And off we go. And yeah, we're gonna have a 122 in points here. with 2 hunters less at the start, getting all 4 hunters at the end, 6 hunters
You
in
did a
total.
great thing today, Agent.
And
We take
yeah,
electricity for
that
granted,
was
but
a quick
without that
run
plant, this
through
entire
Countdown.
region would have lost power.
Yeah, let's
Thank
jump to the next one, and we'll start by discussing the build I'm going to take in. And here we are on my second account. Before we get set up there, as I was talking about earlier, to make it easier to loot up as you want to, if you're up at the stash and you go into your loadouts, you actually have the option to store away some of your builds. So here you do that by setting options and then send to stash. This will send all of those items to the stash, as you see here, except of course anything that is equipped currently. So the way to do this is generally if you want to keep a few of the builds and put a few of them away, which generally is the setup that you do, is dump a few builds. For instance, yeah, we're not going to use Hotshot or any of the headhunting builds in there. You know, 511 is nice, but maybe not in there. And then what you want to do is, for instance, load up back on all of these builds and making sure that they're actually all there. Because, of course, parts might be shared between them. Like, for instance, if this Elmo went into the stash, a bunch of the builds wouldn't load. It is a little bit of a hassle, but it is just, you know, it is a minute of setup, and then you benefit quite a bit from it. For instance, yeah, that build had a bunch of stuff in the stash for it. And of course, yeah, the more you put in there, the emptier you are. Here we're down to 82 items. That should be enough. We're gonna matchmake again for a challenging countdown. This time, actually, loaded in. We'll do our target at first, and yeah, I'm gonna go for some on this account. Actually, for some let's go for some ARs, just for some alloys as I'm upgrading a few. And let's jump in when we are at the loading screen. And one thing we can do, of course, as well is, first off, I'm going to grab a different build. As I said, I'm going to go something supporty. And in this case, I'm going to go red FI, which is one of the better buffing builds in there. So here, I'm going to take the damage version of this build. It is basically 4 pieces of FI, peyote, and some damage output. What this does is actually buff just people when they're at full. It's their job to keep themselves at full. I don't heal much with this build. And as well, what we can always do as well, if you haven't done any countdowns at all, is you can actually inspect others and make sure that, for instance, the build that I'm running, so I would not want to have any other FIs, for instance, in there. If somebody else is, like, for instance, a full FI, I have on this character other options like going OD for buffing builds, or maybe becoming PFE or some such. So yeah, with the FI buff, as long as people aren't getting hit themselves, they benefit a lot. The difference between FI and OD for in here is basically that the OD kind of dependent on the player playing, and the FI is much more on your allies. So yeah, we're spawning north, so in either way we can kind of link up. So if the other team's spawning east or west, it is our duty to kind of link up with them. And we are just on challenging again. I'm not going to show a heroic one specifically here. And yeah, we're going to take a left.
Reactor unstable.
I'm going to kind of shoot at my allies and just hopefully they will follow me left. If they don't, there. Yeah, here we're going to link up and get everybody the 158.
Shade tech detected.
And that's one of the ways of communicating, just shooting at allies. So I don't want to be the first one in. I'll leave that to others. Oh, we lost 2 people on the other team.
System reactivated.
Well, that's fine. We'll just run it as a 6-man. Yeah, they will have killed their hunter, hopefully, somewhere in there. Yeah, I'm gonna go get the loot from the hunter because we're not likely to come back over here.
Hostile sniper turret detected.
It's too bad that it's all the way in the back. Somebody went into containment.
System curtailed.
Right, so this poor fool is
Hostile
fighting
incinerator
the hunter on his own, but yeah, that's anyway, I'm jammed. I can't heal. That's just to make him move. That's not going to hit him.
System back online.
Yeah, we have a Patriot in the team.
Malfunctioning.
Still have one hunter to get. Hopefully the other team will understand what is happening and just
System
blend with us.
reactivated.
And then, yeah, likely laboratory and containment. I've been playing a lot of First Descendants, and in First Descendants you have a pulse on your tab button, which in Division is my map button. So yeah, if you're seeing me pull up the map accidentally a lot, that's my reflex from that game kind of carrying over. And yeah, we have enough damage here for some intensive murder. And actually I came in here with Sean as well. I think he's running the Vanguard build here. We shouldn't go that way, right? Yeah, well, actually doesn't really matter. Yeah, containment's fine. We'll just follow them. We have to run across one time anyway. Because if we had lab and then have to go across to here, it's basically the same length as. We definitely don't want to do VIP at cooling. Cooling and the lab are really big zones with a lot of parts where you don't want to be caught up in. Here as well, for some reason, this already is triggered. And yeah, there's a billion skills already on the floor. But yeah, these are SHT as well is the only objective where the amount of people matters. This is the same as well in Summit. I'm gonna get in it as soon as I can. I am Technician. I can't actually jam the box from spawning anymore for a little bit by just jamming it up. So yeah, it's no longer able to spawn. That will help us a little bit. And yeah, we do want to get boats. I'm gonna go across. And we do have a little bit of a damage buff, which is in the form of the crit one. I know we've captured the other. We need to capture this one still. Just gonna destroy that, even though we killed its owner already. I see the loot over there. That's likely the loot from the crate, but I'm very much focused on the objective there. And SHT, if everybody gets into them real quick, it's actually not too bad, especially in a small zone like this. And yeah, 3 items plus a targeted plus 1 SHT calibration. So, for instance, here is one of the places where, yeah, laboratory is next door, or cooling tower is next door, together with the VIP. But yeah, we definitely don't want to really do the VIP in there. That zone is horrendously large. I'm hoping nobody kind of veers off and goes there. I'm even gonna remove my mark from cooling, because cooling marks. Oh, yeah, I was the only person that had that mark, because it's no longer marked. So.
10 minutes to lockdown. Evacuate the facility.
I'm gonna shoot at him and hopefully.
Safety protocols eliminate security breach.
The IP at cooling really sucks.
Will result in a full communications shutdown.
So, well, let's avoid that. I know this is kind of the rotation of the of Countdown. You do the hunters, get into the zones. While in the zones, pay attention to the objectives and the crates. Trying to get all of the crates. If you eventually kind of know what you are doing, be also there. For instance, typing out that we're going, containment and lab takes away a little bit of the confusion for the people that do read it. For instance, here as well, we are 3 below 1k and 3 that are like 7, 7, and 9k. Although, of course, SHT doesn't mean much, but yeah, a level as we have there, 38, we'll likely not have a build, we'll likely not know what is going on here. Anyhow, Warhound's one of the fastest objectives, we destroy that. I'm gonna actually just bum rush for the other one. I'm gonna check for the crate. That one is open. That one is open. So it's not these two, so it's gonna be back there. And yeah, some blue armor harpoon we have there. First, I'm gonna destroy that, of course. This will make the warhounds vulnerable, so we can, you know, hurt them. And counter fires as well. Talking about a low SHE level from somebody that has 7k or 9k as one of the other randoms. You expect them to at least know a little bit about a little bit. Just by the playtime required to hit those numbers, unless it is from descent or something. And here, the blue armor is actually the combination of me and 1-2, who is Sean, as we went in together. Is actually a really good combination because he's keeping everybody from hitting.
Area secure.
They're getting any armor damage.
Head to the administration building.
And I'm of course applying a buff. Because yeah, I do a lot less damage myself, but I'm applying a buff to, in this case, yeah, we are in the full 8, so we're not doing it to another 7, but I'm still doing it to another 5. And it's still likely had some loot in there, as by the loot sounds there. But, you know, we'll make more loot. I want to get to admin quickly. Also, yeah, we spawned north. Actually, I'm gonna blow up these things. So one of the oh, oops. One of the things that is handy about knowing the system of insertion and extraction.
Agent,
So we spawn north
administration
and
building.
east.
I need you to
That
fix the
means that
comms.
we're going to extract west, which is actually next door to this. That's also one of the ones that can be a little bit crashy, so I'm hoping not to crash.
Safety protocol.
And yeah, right away checking for the crates.
An agent has gone offline. You are now grouped.
I know it's your favorite job.
Down to
Need
down
you
to
search
5.
the
This is
control room
alright.
and find the server.
The enemies here do scale, so depending on how many enemy or allies are around, they scale. But loot-wise, it is worse to have 5 people is actually way too little for it to be. If we had this from the start, that will influence kind of how worthwhile it is to stick around. And yeah, we've seen 2 of the 3 crate locations, and they aren't there. So it's gonna be yeah, over there. So there's some loot sands there. Yeah, when this is getting the objective there, I'm gonna grab this real quick and then actually go get set up for in a second. So in the theme of these are all set, and once you
Nice
kind of know,
job.
you know.
You're a pro.
Yeah, it's
Now,
the control
just need you
room,
to find
then it's the
another
2
server.
outside here, then it's all 3 together. So knowing that, I'm just gonna go sit up on this balcony, make sure I start the thing. I'm just gonna do this one.
High risk hostile.
I don't have too much damage. I can still kill for myself. Especially on challenge. This was heroic. And of course, if for instance we had the short range buff or the headshot buff, all of those things can make even weak kills like this kind of super potent. But also we're now likely at the point where there is more support than there is actually, you know, people to be supported. I'm still gonna stick with this though. But the smart thing here would be to actually swap to Striker, but I don't want to redo that extraction as Striker. Mostly
One more
because I
server
also
and you
want to
can
show
reboot
a
the
thing.
system.
High risk
I'm
target
gonna wait for
approaching.
them to... actually complete it.
System breach.
And I get the lounge.
Safety protocol.
See the control room being get on. We have a little bit of healing, especially on the burst of it. I'll send one that way. There's also that person is not actually in the thing. Just making sure that he's actually fully healed, just so he has the buff. Keep cleaning. The 5 buff, of course, also applies to me, so I like to be at full health myself. That's why I have the hive next to me.
System rebooted.
We just need to
Communications
clean up.
restored.
We get our loots. I've been kind of stuck in there. And yeah, one thing, actually, we did, of course, put a few builds away to be able to loot, and then my habits took over of just still checking the loot. We'll just pick up everything as junk as we go through them. So for instance as well, I'm actually gonna leave this one guy alive. Although others aren't. While I get my loot. Because yeah, the next timer doesn't start until
Good
we
work, Agent. You saved the
finish
plant.
this.
Move to
Hopefully we
extraction
don't
point.
lose any more people here.
Torres is waiting for your signal. Shoot off a flare when you're ready to
Because
come home.
it is a close rangey extraction. Although this one isn't that bad. Generally, I feel. We can jump down here, which I'm going to do. And then, yeah, they kind of spawn when we go through this door. The Black Tusk will already be mad at us. I'm gonna set myself up here, and yeah, that I Faradayed myself. So I still have my ability to kind of heal.
Get on that
little bit.
helo. You've got hunters
Because
incoming.
if I'm disrupted, of course, I can't heal at all as such. Here, one of the things that generally happens is that you get stuck in the cover, but yeah, one of the hunters goes kind of that way. I'm just gonna keep his attention on me. Just trying to get the back there, but yeah, there's one hunter back there. Just gonna use my chem there. Okay, he's falling back, so that's good. There isn't enough good cover on this end. Is one of the issues. I'm gonna try to heal up ourselves.
System malfunctioning. An agent
And yeah,
needs
they hacked my healing,
System reactivated.
but then I just destroy it.
An agent has
And with destroy it, I mean I just literally shoot at it and destroy it. And here we have the issue of, yeah, too much support, not enough damage ourselves. I should have become a striker here, but I just wanted to show the Faraday, even though it was kind
Serious trauma detected.
of needless. Because yeah, we also have a True Patriot, which is not a good setup for in here.
Shoot off a flare so Torres knows you're ready to go.
Just get a little bit of healing up from there. Oh, we got it cleared, and the skilling does drop. So honestly, it is actually, you know, people go like, "Oh, we did it. We did the extraction with 4 people." Honestly, I would say with like 5, like we have here, it is easier than with 8. Because as the scaling goes up, as the number of enemies goes up, yeah, it's actually harder with 8 than it is with any number below that. As yeah, we'll get through, and yeah, here we're just gonna farm it, of course. So for instance, there as well, I did put out my hive, and it did get hacked, but it was out of the range of anybody that it could heal on their team, so that wasn't an issue. And that's generally what you can do with a healing hive. You can actually put it out, and as long as it's not covering them as well. If they hack it, it doesn't mean anything if it can't reach them to heal them. Now, of course, with damaging skills, it's a lot different. So yeah, you don't want any turrets, you don't want any drones. Also, for instance, as well, a healing, something like a healing drone, you don't want to put that out in front of hunters because they will hack it and that will go to them and then kill them, of course. But just starting out, just don't use skills or use skills that are handheld. Stuff like foam and stuff cannot be hacked in any effective way. Stickies, same way. And yeah, we're just waiting out the timer on likely, usually around 10ish, somebody will
Torres is
flare.
on her way.
Better to do it as late as possible. Sometimes it can be the difference between getting an extra chopper and not, but then it's fine. And while this won't be a lucrative countdown just because we were at 6 people for most of it, we still got full hunters, so that was the nice thing. We did get to link up the teams real quickly, getting all of the hunters, meaning 158 on the end screen
Let's get you home.
for the challenging countdown. And we can get one more. Basically, if these two choppers are arriving at the same time, you can still get this one. Although, of course, you need to grab and go. Although we'll still leave with like 8 seconds remaining. At the very least, even if it's like one of the ones where it's a little bit further away. Of course, if we kill them up there, it even drops a loot at our feet. And off we go. Yeah, we got there on a 158, hopefully.
Keep working together
if
like
I didn't
that,
miss any
and
of the
we
dog
may
tags,
actually
and I
keep the
didn't.
lights on this winter.
And we'll take this over to its
An
conclusion.
agent is...
And one thing I want to discuss, getting back to base, we have a lot of loot, of course, with us. So for those that maybe newer to my channel, I would recommend going over and as I'll link it down below as well, the vendor sorting video. So one of the easier ways to sort through all of your all of the things that you got, and a lot of people often ask me on stream as well why I'm always going to the vendor right away after doing something, is because when you come here, setup wise, I have everything of my loadouts and such are favorited. So every item that was in my inventory basically before this run was favorited, including all of the mods and stuff in gear and also in skills and such. You have to, it does take a little bit of setup time, but generally as well, I've done that basically for always. So that means that any item that shows up here is a new item. So I can just look through here, go like, yeah, none of those weapons have detox, so get out of here. If I'm looking for something specific, if I run into it, I might keep it as, for instance, well, not that one, you know, if an item looks appealing, I might keep it. And of course, if it's maybe a full guard roll item and then with free talentable weapons and such, or a maxed out mod or stuff like that. So that makes it easy to sort through everything. But yeah, that will be our conclusion of this video, as we went through some countdowns, basically going through them and talking about them as we did them. We got our rewards out of it, and a lot of deconstructible junk, as well, which is one of the nicer things. And of course, as well, as we were talking in the guide, the reason to do this is for the rewards, which we can go here. And for instance, on that run, we got 158. I had likely some from a last time. This week, for instance, as to discuss that as well, these two items are on Cassie. So for instance, when an item like this shows up, which can be valuable, this is a setup with crit chance crit damage, which can be record to a red. This is going to be on Cassie as well. So that's not worth getting. The third item, if it is a DZ item, which it isn't this time, a swap chain, or maybe if it's really an item that you want, you can, of course, get it. Otherwise, yeah, I'll be sticking to exotic caches, especially because I'm at that point where I'm grading up as many items as I can to be as high as possible. And yeah, I can use my exotic caches quite well. So yeah, that was the second part of the in-depth guide, the practical side, just going through that actual run, showing it as well with some different builds. And that's also going to be the subject of my next video, as we'll go over some of the builds that I really like for Countdown, which includes, for instance, yeah, the two that we saw today, which is a Strikers and a Red FI, but also, for instance, some PFE builds, some ongoing directive builds, some other support like builds like a hazard resistance foam and a hazard resistant FI. And we'll go over all of those in a separate video. So I hope you join me for those. And if you enjoyed this video or found it informative, please do all of the algorithm things down below. It does help out a lot, actually. Turns out. So yeah, it's well worth saying. And lastly, as always, have a good night.